Mark Sarvas est un écrivain, critique et blogueur américain. Il est né à New York, de parents originaires de Hongrie, et vit aujourd'hui en Californie. Mark Sarvas a commencé sa carrière d'écrivain en tant que scénariste à Los Angeles. Mais il a vite compris que ce métier, très industriel à Hollywood, ne lui convenait pas et qu'il lui fallait écrire des romans. Il publie son premier roman en 2008, intitulé Harry Revised, publié chez Bloomsbury, qui a remporté un très beau succès et qui a été traduit et publié dans plus d'une douzaine de pays, dont la France, sous le titre Harry, revu et corrigé, aux éditions Nil. Un portrait au vitriol d'un homme qui, suite au décès de son épouse, essaye de se réinventer. Mark prend son temps pour publier son second roman. 10 ans plus tard, en 2018, intitulé MEMENTO PARK, chez Farrar, Straus & Giroux, pour lequel il reçoit le prestigieux prix de l'American Book Award. Cette fois-ci, il s'agit d'un portrait de famille, psychologiquement riche et intense. Finalement, en 2025, il publie son troisième roman, intitulé Hawthornden, chez ITNA Press, qui s'intéresse aux dégâts psychologiques causés par les réseaux sociaux, toujours du point de vue d'un personnage narrateur masculin, et toujours avec beaucoup d'humour et décapant. J'ajouterai que Mark a tenu un blog littéraire, The Elegant Variation, très réputé aux États-Unis, et ceci pendant plus de 20 ans, et qu'il est également professeur de novel writing, c'est très spécifique, it's not only creative writing, it's novel writing, à l'université de UCL. À Lavigny, Mark travaille sur le manuscrit de son quatrième roman.
Bonsoir, merci. That is all the French I will give you tonight. So, thank you for coming out on a hot day. So, as Sophie said, I'm going to read a selection from a novel in progress, which I don't normally do, but you all look very trustworthy. So it is in English. I'll read slowly. And the novel is a historical novel. It's set around some kind of dramatic events that I'm going to be a little bit coy about right now. But what you need to know is the novel combines human and animal characters, and lions play a big part. There's a circus that goes awry, and is all based on a true story. And so for tonight, I'm going to read a flashback, a couple of flashbacks from the life of the female lion tamer. Was actually a very well-known, popular figure. And this takes place when she's about 11 or 12, so it's going back a little bit in time. And I guess I'll have to explain one or two things. I might pronounce a few things in German very poorly, and there's a reference to Mutti, who is a lion who we have met earlier before this section. I think that's everything. And the character's name is Helene. In the months following her run-in with Mutti, an idea has taken hold of Helene. More than an idea, an obsession, a radical reordering of purpose. She wants to train lions. She will train lions. If her father will not allow it, she will leave and find someone who will. He's mystified by this new adamantine display of will, but he thinks it is merely a childish phase that will pass. He's wrong. Helene takes up a permanent residence at the lion cage, pestering Otto the trainer with question after question. At first he enjoys the audience and happily explains all he knows, each lion's quirks, how to assert authority and to stay safe at the same time. He shows off his many scars, an unavoidable part of the trade, he tells her. But as the months pass, even Otto finds there is something unnatural in this girl's focus and her insistence that she will one day do what he does. That she is the boss's daughter makes it feel more like a threat than he cares to admit, so her father runs the circus that they're in. She spends all her days learning the habits of the three lions in the act. Mutti she already knows well, can anticipate her with reasonable accuracy. She's not an ambitious beast, craves comfort and quiet, and is pliant enough after years of training. Tobias is the alpha, and he knows it. He's rather lazy, Helene has decided. He needs a stronger hand to be coaxed into action, and will swipe an angry paw when he's not in the mood to work. Isolde is the youngest and the least predictable. She swings between obedience and resentment. Helene can feel the waves, sometimes within an instant. She studies them all closely, yearns to be back in the cage with them. Otto tries to shoo her off, urges her to learn the rest of the circus, but Helene will not budge and makes no secret of her ambitions. She begs her father, just give me a chance, one time, please. He will not hear of it, and he warns her. The others have begun to shun her. You know these circus folk, they're an insular lot. They have their cliques. It does not do to show so much ambition so nakedly. They have stopped trusting you. Helene has noticed that no one joins her when she eats, that her old friends, the hands who have indulged her for so many years, made her presents and fed her chocolates, now change direction when she approaches. Too much ambition, Schatzi. People think you're a braggart. This is why they ignore me now? Just be as you were, a happy, lively child. But Helene will never be as she was. And so she opts for silence, the silence of her lions. She does not discuss the future, her plans. Gossip passes through the circus. She is aware of it all. Strange child. At least now she's quiet. No more of this training talk. She holds herself apart. She will remain separate, but never lonely. She has her lions. They have her. She stands alone before the cage late one evening, Otto off relieving himself. She whispers to Mutti, "Wait for me. I'm coming." She does not have to wait long. Before the year is out, she has her chance. She's watching on another hot Sunday afternoon, just like the one in Schillach. Otto is practicing the leaping act, Tobias and Isolde springing past one another on command. He is usually so sure-footed, but today, for some reason, perhaps the heat, perhaps the sun in his eyes, he misjudges the space he has, and he is forced to step back quickly, coming down hard on his ankle, which twists with an audible pop across the arena. All at once he is on the ground, helpless and writhing in pain. Yes, these lions are trained, and yes, they are as close to tame as a wild animal can ever truly be. But an injured animal becomes prey, atavistic urges kick in. Otto does his best to scrabble away as Tobias approaches, snarling, ears flattened. He screams out for help, but before anyone can respond, somehow, almost magically, Helene is in the cage, whip in hand. She knows she must project authority, command respect. She must hold her ground firmly and speak sharply and clearly. Instinct has taken over. All the years spent watching Otto have become a kind of muscle memory, and she cracks the whip toward Tobias's nose and shouts her command for him to stop and lie down. Tobias hesitates, taking her measure. Her voice is weaker than she'd like, more fearful squeak than a commanding shout. So she does it again, much sharper, much louder, another crack of the whip, and now Tobias stops his approach, stretches, and lies down. Helene does the same with Isolde, surprised to find her so compliant. She's bought time for the other hands to open the cage and pull Otto to safety. With the danger past, at least for Otto, Helene is briefly unsure what to do when she becomes aware of her father's eyes upon her, disbelieving, impressed, terrified, and proud. So Helene decides to push her luck and corrals all three lines back into formation, into a pyramid, as she has seen Otto do so many times before. She feels the sun hot on her neck, the sweat is trickling into her eyes, but all she can hear is the purr of the cats, her cats. I know, she thinks, I know. Finally, she guides them back to the chute, and they are returned to their wagons. She steps out of the cage, and now the trembling is upon her, the shock and fear delayed, moving through her body. Her father catches her just as she drops her whip and begins her fall to the ground. He scoops her up in his arms, and she expects fury, a reprimand, but slowly becomes aware of the applause, all the rest of the circus there to honor this courage, this skill, this talent. You saved him, Schatz. You saved Otto's life. You're a hero. All she hears is the applause. Otto will be sidelined for at least 6 weeks, maybe longer. Father reluctantly agrees to have her take over the act, at least for now. The showman in him knows that posters of a 12-year-old girl surrounded by 3 huge lions will bring the crowds in. But he has a condition. 1 week of non-stop training, and it must go without a hitch. So he sits outside the cage every day watching as Otto shouts commands and instructions to his daughter, and Helene moves with an instinctive fluidity that he never imagined her capable of. Each day they focus on another trick in the act. Each day, Helene stands her ground, her confidence growing. Otto warns her not to get cocky, that a single moment of distraction can be fatal. And in truth, Helene feels the vulnerability of her position, exposed with nothing much more than this metal stool and her whip. But it is the exposure that accelerates her. If it were up to her, there would be nothing between her and her lines. No layer of protection, no distance. She's still just a child. She knows this. Her father and Otto know this. She has instinct and talent, but no experience. Experience must be earned, hard won, and sometimes it's soaked in blood. But for now, they marvel as she moves unerringly from one trick to another, bending these cats to her formidable will. She knows she is talented. She knows this is where she's meant to be, where she will spend the rest of her life, however long that turns out to be. She loves her cats, communicates with them, has forged a language of looks, of shouts, but also of transmitted thought. I know. And they do too, she is quite sure. But she always, always knows where Isolde is. Helene has been to the circus 100 times in her life, but always in the audience, in the wings. She's unprepared for how different it feels when you stand in the arena. There is so much happening around her, the band playing its tunes to energize the crowds, the white glare of the acetylene lamps and the smell of the softer kerosene lights, the sound of the audience roaring, laughing, cheering, yet invisible to her in the vast darkness beyond the perimeter of the stage. She knows they are there, she can feel them, but something has her wrong-footed, a sensation she doesn't recognize. Stage fright, Otto whispers, leaning on his cane. It will pass. You're a natural. Helene feels a wave of gratitude for these, the kindest words Otto has ever spoken to her. She kisses him quickly on the cheek and adjusts the costume that she, her father, and Otto have designed together. Sleek, form-fitting trousers and a doublet, white with brass buttons that catch the light. Helene thought she would have to fight her father, no dresses, but Otto agreed. No flowing garments, nothing on which to catch tooth or claw. She has rehearsed in her outfit, but it still feels new and stiff. At last, the ringmaster announces her, the magnificent Helene and her 3 wild lions. Helene and her father exchange a final look, excuse me, and she slips once more into the cage. She bows deeply for the roaring audience, such excitement, so different from her quiet rehearsals, and then opens the chute, the firing line, as Otto calls it. Muti, Tobias, and Isolde stream into the arena, and the cheering startles Helene. Her lions handle it better. They are pros and used to the sound. But Helene can feel her focus is ever so slightly off. Her eyes strain against the darkness of the seats. She tries to read the applause, anticipate it, allow for it in a way that will not interrupt her thoughts. She feels unprepared. She wishes someone had warned her about the electric charge of a live show. But as she always does, she finds her footing. She begins to tune out everything except her 3 charges and the rehearsed steps, those leonine stations of the cross, and one by one, with a showman's natural timing, she moves them to the next trick, each one bigger, more dangerous, garnering bigger reactions. She loves these highs and lows, loves the hush that falls across the room in a dangerous moment, the almost synchronized exhalation as she concludes each little piece of her act, a symphonic movement successfully realized. Then the delighted roars, the shouts and cheers. She is thrilled in spite of herself, and for a brief moment she allows the audience to step in and share this private place she has built with her 3 cats. It is all it takes for danger to strike. It is a mistake she'll never repeat. And then something really bad happens.